Hey everybody, G-Force41 here with another PGA Tour 2K25 course playthrough video. And this is my own Taconic State Park Red course. I have not done a video in a long time for you. Sorry, I've only done one in the month of April. And I'm recording this at the end of April. Probably won't be out till maybe the first couple days in May. And I'm back. I've been just very busy with my own business podcast. So please check that out. I'll try to put a link in the notes. It's called Your Customer, Your Success. It's a customer experience podcast, and it's very interesting. I have entrepreneurs, business leaders, CEOs, CX consultants, great stuff. So whatever business you're in, actually, it's pretty interesting material for anybody to view. All right, so let's get back to golf, but that's what I've been doing a lot of lately, so sorry about that. Taconic State Park Red is a course I did for the TGC 19, I think it was a course design in that version of the game. And I know it was for a World Cup of Design contest. I think it was the alternate contest back in the day. And it was only, well, let me just give you the history. It was supposed to be a Heathland course, as you can see, but it didn't really look like England. So it looked like the Northeast, which is like all my courses, right? So it looked like kind of upstate New York or Western Massachusetts. So I set it in the real Taconic State Park. That is a real park. However, there's no golf courses there. So it's a fictional course. And the idea was like Bethpage State Park, right? You've got the red, the blue, and of course the famous black course. So there is a Taconic State Park Red, which is this one. And there's a Taconic State Park Blue. Which I have not ported over to 25 yet, but it is on PGA Tour 2K23. That I'll have out pretty soon, maybe not for a month or so. All right, so here the point was it was a lost course. It was a William Flynn. I gave it this big backstory, but so it's got a little bit of elements of Willie Flynn and Heathland stuff, but I've updated it with all the new gizmos, the surface weathering, the terrain painting. I've made it redder than ever. I replaced the purple bushes that was the heath in the old game with the more red bushes we have going now. So it's redder than ever, it's better than ever, and I always update my courses. So even though this is a TGC 19 course, it's been updated 2 or 3 times to keep it modern. I do not just port and publish. I make them better for you and for me, so I can be assured that the courses you're playing are good, and I'm not embarrassed by them. All right, so you can see some redness, but let's get going. Centerline bunker. So I designed this course back in the day when centerline bunkers were all the rage, so you'll see 2 or 3 of them. So B101, it's all your fault. Back in the day, that was what everybody was preaching and putting in their tournament courses. So this is a basic high-low strategy, right? You want to be on either side depending on where the pit is. Probably on that shot, I wanted to be up top, but I was talking and I didn't pay attention. Why? Because the pin is back here. So strategically, there's simple little holes to set them up so you have a decision off the tee, right? And I should have made a different decision than I did. But that's all. Just give people options and decisions off the tee. That's the strategery, as we call it. You know, as everything, my greens aren't overly complicated. I keep everything casual friendly for Casuals Golf Club. This is happening now, Casuals Classics week 9. As I'm recording this, I don't think I'll have this video out in time, but you'll miss the casual event with Taconic State Park Red in it. But please go out. It's a very good course to add in your societies because it's easy playing, but you could increase the difficulty through the settings. Oh, I did the cameras. I figured out how to do the cameras, so we'll get some of those in there. Pretty easy. Oh, there you see the walking path. So that path off to the side is meant to be a walking path going out throughout the course. And that was the state park aspect of it. So it's a walking path that goes through the golf course that is part of the state park. So it gave it that kind of natural look to it. So this isn't quite a leave-in hole. It's a little bit of a just kind of split fairway. How much do you want to cut off? You want to be left because of this green, and I've picked hole location 1 for just one of these purposes. You want to be left, but there's a bunker there, right? So, okay, you want to be right, but now your angle's much worse. So again, a little strategery. In this game, it's not hard to carry that with wind in your face. You might have a little challenge and have to go over here, but you know that'll leave you short of the bunker. So with this wind over here is going to put me in the bunker. We'll do this. Maybe now you kind of hit that choked tee shot. I didn't even think of that before I hit it. But of course, the terrain make your terrain natural is going to flow to that water, to that little stream. So anything to the middle was going to bring you over there, which is fine. You're safe, but now you've got a little bit of a funky shot. This will work well with my little patented fade here. Again, my character looks a little bit like Jack on purpose. So we're going like 60s Jack here with the dark look. Because I don't have my Sansa plaid pants yet. So 2K Sports, are you listening? Give us some Sansa plaid 70s pants. Please. And no, I look nothing like this. So I felt I was always making my characters look a little bit like me, but, you know, a little bit more buff than I really am. Oh. Almost nailed it. We will take the little tap and burn anytime. So that's a fun hole. So you see some more strategy here. The next is a template hole. This is, that's the 8th hole. We'll talk about that soon. This is the Redan. This is probably, I am not tooting my own horn, I'm just saying this is the best Redan I've ever done. I've done a number of them, and some of them are not so good. This one came out great. It does everything a Redan should do. So if you're not familiar with golf course architecture, a Redan is a template hole. Okay, it plays about 210 to 220 in distance, and it is characterized by a green that goes 45 degrees from right to left, and a large hill front right that has the green sloping back right to, front right to back left. Okay, and it is guarded by big bunkers. That's why it's a Redan. It's kind of like a fortress concept. I think Prestwick is the original. Maybe I'm misquoting on that, but you see the bunkers kind of up front and off to the right, and it's try to just give it that like fortress like look to it. And it's a fun hole because you've got the slope of the green. The green only really, there's no tiers really. Everything just goes one direction, and you can use the slope to get it close or chip it in. So this one just works really well, and I set it with the light right on it. And it's just a fun little hole. This location is a little much with this wind. That's going to be too much, so I'm going to draw it to keep that going, and I'm going to actually just have it run a little because I want that slope. I hope I hit a good one for you. So that should be all right. See what the slope does. Good little camera angle. Now you see it come in. Did I get it right? It's going to come up a little short. Not enough juice. So I didn't have enough club. So then you'll see a fun putt. Obviously, it's going to be a big bender. And it's just a matter of gauging that break. Come on now. A little high. But if you miss the green, it's a fun little chip too. You can just, use the slope, roll it down. So, simple strategery. Oh, a little quick on the camera there. That was weird. I don't know if that was just loading or me on the camera setup. So this is 4. That's a preview of the 4th hole. This is your proverbial drivable par 4. And I think the reds really pop here, right? I redid this section a little to show more water. You couldn't really see the water in the previous versions. And it's to give you decisions. Now, in most instances, you're going to go for the green, right? It's a video game. But it gives you options, especially if you had a stronger wind and you're not as, not hitting it as far. You can go down here, have a short little pitch. You can go over here and have a pitch, depending on where the hole is. You can lay up way back in here, right? Just have that flat little shot in. So most of us is going to go for it. Certainly on the video for fun, we're going to go for it. But there's a consequence to missing, right? There's danger abound. So that is kind of the classic way of doing the drivable 4. It's way downhill. We got wind in our face, but with the downhill, let's see what happens. It's a little left, but am I going to get the slope? Am I going to get the slope? Am I going to get the slope? I'm getting the slope. I'm getting the slope. And it, runs right by it. So fun little drivable 4. I really got the slope. You can see the greens are running 162. That's a bunch. But, the problem with slowing down the greens is you don't get those rolls, right? Especially with the Redan. You don't get the rolls and the hills helping you, which I know a lot of people like, and it's fun for people. So keeping the greens slow affects the approach shots, too. So you always keep that in mind. So that's what we try to do on these playthrough videos is give you golf course design tips as well to help you with your course design. It's not just playing through, right? So that's something we think about. The casuals, we try to keep it simple and easy setup, but when we go slow greens, it's going to take away from the design of some of the holes, right? So always, I've got to make that decision whether or not to, keep the greens slow because they're a little tricky, or keep them as is. So this one's got a stream, a little pond running down the right side. You can just sneak one in the corner just like that to have a flattish approach to the elevated green. So you want to be kind of in the middle. It's just a tricky little tee shot to get it positioned right. It's not a ton of trouble, but you've got the elevated green, right? So if you miss, you're bounding down to the side. You got a big bunker in the front, etc. Okay? There you can see the paths going through. It's a little less noticeable just because it's kind of now we're in the middle of the course, right? I touched up the crowds a little. I have some trouble with the crowds. I just, it's hard to, you don't want them too dense, right? Because this isn't like a stadium course. So you want them scattered. I use some of the new grasses. You can see they're a little far away, but I kind of keep them out of play. I put the marshals in. And I know they're a little far away, and some people point that out, but I don't want them too close. We focus on tee ready. Get in. Tee ready courses on casuals. Big weekender must be tee ready. There you see that Redan again. So it looks nice, and they're pretty holes if you do them right. Midweek, it's not necessary, but it will help your chances if you ever want to get your course on Casuals Golf Club. Simple par 5. I'm just going to straighten it out a little. Straight at you, of course, it just moves a little left to right following the terrain, so you want to be left, so it's hard to keep it left. And then if you push it, you wind up here and ruin your chances as an easy reach it in 2 type hole. Let's see what this lie's doing. It's not bad. 80, 248, or 90, 220. Let's do 80. Let's see what the 3-wood does. There you see some of those new plantings. The bushes and the grasses there were updated. There were a couple of the older ones I left in there. So it did take some time to redo this one. Took me a long time to redo Greshmore, so check that out if you haven't. I will do a video on that one next. Roll it up there. Get in. Woo! All right. So far, so good at 3 under. You'd hope I'd have a good day on my own course, right? All right, I love this one. This one was supposed to be basically a punch bowl, a little bit like a hole I play here on Plymouth Country Club. It's not quite, but it's kind of got, it's not really a hog's back. It's got basically 2 levels to the fairway. So up here is flat and a nice approach, but it's elevated. I'm sorry, it's going to be a little blind from behind that bunker. Here it's going to be a little bit downhill, side hill. And, of course, if the pin's where it is here, that's not the greatest approach. You're going over a bunker. So you got the angle, but it's blind up here. And here you've got, it's a little trickier lie, but it's not blind. So with that wind, I'm just going to throw it up here and see what happens. Then I'll show you the green in a second, as soon as this shot lands right where I want it, I hope. Right there. Oh, stop. Okay. So now you can see it's blind, right? It's a little punch bowly. Not much. But it kind of has the effect that I wanted. And I touched the plantings down here, look real nice. It's always been a kind of pretty little section. So it's an effective little hole. Forget what hole in Plymouth has the punch bowl. I don't know if it's like 6 or 5 or something like that. Oh, simple little putt. Pushed it. All right. On to the next par 3. And there it is, the 8th hole. One of my more scenic holes. So this is the logo. This is the one that's on the thumbnail when you choose the courses. This is one of my more, I don't really have a famous par 3, but a fairly well-known par 3 of mine. Just 'cause I worked like hell on the sculpting on this. Because don't forget, this is for a World Cup of Design contest, right? So it's going to be judged. And so this is the pretty as a picture hole. You want a par 3, especially a shorter one, to be scenic and the most, maybe the most scenic look on the course. The Redan was pretty too, but you've got the trail going through on the left. I did the terrain painting for the trees, touched up the planting a little, and that rock and pond has been there the whole time. But I sculpted this thing, geez, into the light when I designed it, and I've kind of kept it. So it's kind of a Eden type hole. It's not quite an Eden, but similar. It's got an Eden-esque quality to it. Again, that's another template hole. So 8 miles an hour downhill. Is that going to be too much? Maybe I'll just choke down on this one. And one of the characteristics is it slopes hard back to front. So, right in this whole location, you do want to be behind it a little. Let's see what the choke tee shot does. Downhill into the wind. It's got the right line with that wind. What's the distance going to do? It's going to be just right. It's going to be just right. So fun little shot. Fun little hole. So yeah, this course features 2 of my better par 3s. Very interesting. The 2 good ones on the back. The 11th is a little quirky, as you'll see. But here we go with the 9th. This goes back to the clubhouse, and you used to be able to see the winery in the distance. There it is. On a shot, the camera angle would kind of follow the trajectory of the ball. Again, so you see another centerline bunker. What do you want to do here? Do you want to cut this corner and risk this forced carry, which gives you the short, simple approach? Or do you want to throw it way out here? It's going to depend on the wind. You see it's kind of flat, so the 7 miles an hour in face, this probably isn't going to be enough. And it would be a great angle into that whole location, but I don't think so today. So I got to throw it out over here. Get a little closer and hug that bunker as close as I can. So simple little decisions off the tee keeps it interesting and strategic. So you can see I kind of did think a lot about these holes, considering it was a contest course. Mayday did a great playthrough here. He played for the alternate, the first 9 were the ones they were judging, and he was on fire. Did he play? He might have played the whole course. Yeah, he played the whole course actually. But he was almost going to break 60. I forget if he did it. He might have shot 59. But right around this turn, holes I think 3 through 10, he was just on fire. So it was a fun little video. Got to check out what Mayday's up to. I think he has a new one out. He is one of my favorite designers of all time. I always enjoy everything he does. Oh! I didn't enjoy that result. Of course, the Flamingo that he did with Victory Lane Sports is one of my favorites. We feature it on casuals all the time. Oh, and he left it short. First bogue. There you can see the clubhouse. So all in, this one's a little, underrated in my arsenal. It's a good course, very versatile. Of course, it's, an older course now. And people like Taconic State Park Blue as well, so I think this one goes under the radar a bit. All right, this one's a little quirky. So now we're starting the back. Again, I'm trying to fit holes into the terrain I set up. And this one is just, again, a little bit of where do you want this tee shot, right? Because you have this little hill, basically. I'll just call it a hill in the fairway. It's not really a swale or anything like that. It's going to bring you down there. It's going to just give you a longer shot into the elevated green. So you want to basically draw one around this corner if you can. Then again, you got those bunkers to contend with. Again, there's the strategy. Simple stuff. Just give people things to think about. Don't make it overly hard. Make it interesting. And that's why I think this whole, again, it's a little odd, but it's a little interesting. Now you've got this approach over that bunker, right? 27 feet up, 8 mile an hour into your face. Is even that enough? I think we're going to choke down on the 5. I like that choke down option. Very effective. Again, the crowd's a little far away on this one, but I kind of have them around that path. And this, I'm going to go up to a 50. Trying to run these up a little bit more. Use the ground in the roll, especially on faster greens. All right. That's definitely not a birdie hole. That's a kind of just take your par and go along hole. So here's the 11th I told you. This one's a little odd. It's in a pretty little setting. Excuse me. And I thought a bunch of times about changing this one, but I kind of like it just because you've got that pond behind it. And so that's a little bit of a hazard, to say the least, even though you're not really thinking of it. I wanted to turn this into maybe more of a truer Eden or so, and I just said, you know what, just kind of leave it. And I toned down the green just a little bit because it was a little too slopey in previous versions. It's just weird. So it's just going to be distance control. Here again, I think I'm just going to hit a choke down club. And really, you just don't want to be long, right? And if the hole's over in the corner, you don't want to be short. It's going to knock it down. You got a bunker on the right. So you got trouble kind of each side. It's not particularly small green. But that little, obviously there's a whole location in that little peninsula there. And it's got some decent slope to it. But he pulls off the bird. There you go. So I like the cameras, but it kind of keeps going back to the same pictures over again, but it's fine. All right, hole 12. 12 is basically a drive and pitch hole. There's a little pond in front of it, which I guess if you're a really big hitter, especially from the up tees, is actually going to come and play. Now that we're all killing the ball 300 yards. Don't forget, I designed this for TGC 19. I don't think everybody was killing it 300 yards back in the day. I don't even remember. But, here you can go for it with the little wind that's going to roll you out. You're going to have one of those in-between pitches, though. So that's kind of the idea here. Do you want that in-between 62-yard pitch? Do you want to be back here up on the, up on the flat with the full wedge in? So I'm going to hit it just to show you what happens. So this was the goad you into it hole, basically I call it. Obviously people are going to pull driver here and go for it. But, especially in older versions of the game, those little in-between pitch shots are not easy. And so here you go, you got a 53-yarder to a front pin. Is that really where you wanted to be? No, but most people are going to do that. You probably wanted to, with the front pin, be back with a full wedge where you can really spin it. Can you spin it here? Can you hit some sort of spinner? Maybe. So now you got these spinners in there. You could probably do one of these. But the regular pitch shot, which I'll do here with the 60, it's a little hard to stop. Don't underestimate the slope. I'm putting a little spin on it, but watch. I hit that one pretty good, but it's going to roll past. So you might want to hit the spinner. I haven't worked that spinner too much. I'm not sure everybody has that yet, but that's a basic idea there. No right or wrong way to play the hole, but again, that's the whole point. What do you want to do? So I ran it past, and now I'm looking at tapping par. Not a whole lot of risk there. It's just a matter of how do you want to go at that birdie. Okay, next par 3, definitely 13 is 13. It's a par 5, bending around with some water on it, so it reminds you of a little bit of a famous 13th hole par 5 at a course you've seen earlier in the month. The trees up top. It's kind of what I was thinking when it's the hole that fit here, and that's why I was like, you know what, it reminds me of that famous 13th hole at you know where. So let it rip. The last thing you want to do is push it right into those trees. I threw a big bunker on the left. There's a big crowd gathering up there. That's in pretty good position. Of course, this slope is going to take you down to the water. That's a little different. I put the water way off all the way around the hole, and the slope is taking you that way, right? So, little winds helping us bring it back. This should be nice because the slope's there, a little fade. See what happens. So you can definitely score on this course. Like I said, if you want to make the greens firmer, faster, put some wind in, this course is going to set up nicely however you want to do it. So I'm a little surprised it actually hasn't gotten a ton of plays. In this version of the game, I haven't really promoted it at all. There we go. Pretty scene right there, right? I haven't promoted it too much, but it is in casuals this week, so it'll get a whole bunch of plays this week. The final par 3 is 14 here. Now this is a longer one, 220. So again, remember to vary your par 3s in length and direction. You don't want them all going in the same direction, and you don't want them similar in lengths. We had 2 that were around 170, 180. The Redan, which is about 210 to 220, and this one's 230 to 240 up the hill, right? So a little bit of variety there. I redid this a couple of times. We did the bunkering, the shape of the green, the slope of the green, but basically it's been this big kind of uphill par 3. Uphill par 3s are, I think, underappreciated and underutilized in the game. It's a good shot there. And they're hard to pull off. You want to be subtle with the uphills. I'll take that. 6 under. 7 birds. 1 bogey. All right. Last centerline bunker. I promise. So you see there's 3 of them. This is kind of the reverse high-low, right? Very similar to the first, but going the opposite way. That was on purpose, right? Again, of course, you kind of test your left to right, right to left. I think that's what I was thinking here, that this is very similar to 1, but going the opposite way. Whether that was a good idea or not, I don't know. I'll let you decide. That's an interesting pin. You want this over here, right? So I got 9-mile-an-hour wind, so I'm going to hug this bunker. So is it repetitive? I don't know. I don't think so, because I think it's the whole going the opposite way isn't repetitive. Repetitive is the whole doing the same thing. Nine, 4 up. Again, I think I like this choke. Well, you know what? I'm not going to do that because I've got the light rough taken a bit off. A little bit of a double break here. Drains it. Nice. Nice job, Digital Jack. All right. 16. The last par 5. Again, some simple stuff. This one goes a little bit left to right. Kind of straight away, but you've got a little bit of trouble here. You got like the bunkerless bunker over here. right? You can see the surface weathering I threw in there. And 2 bunkers on the right side, and it pinches right here, so you got to be careful with the tee shot. You want to be left, but probably the worst thing is to be down in here, right, in this lower rough. You want the left side from the angle in, and it's a bit of a forced carry to that next fairway, right? So depending on wind and where you wind up, you might not even be able to carry it to that second fairway on a layup, which will drive people crazy. You have to lay up to this first fairway, or lay up and stay in this first fairway. So that was a challenge. If you miss the fairway here, you're going to have some trouble. You hit it, it's not much trouble at all. Again, use the slope. We got some wind. We're going to choke down again. I'm making use of that new feature, huh? I paid a lot of attention to the tree line. I haven't talked about that yet. But I do have a series of videos. There's 2 videos on tree lines. If you want to learn more about that, check out those videos. They've been out for quite some time now, but I think those are actually very helpful. And like I said, I'm trying to use the ground more on these chip shots. That's going to be a little too much. I want to use the ground more, but not that much. Oh, almost had it coming back. All right. Stuck on that -6. 17. It's funny how a 435-yard hole is going to say a short 4. It's a mid-length 4, but it just seems to play so short. So again, if you've got an up tee or wind at your back or both, it's going to actually, the water's going to come into play. It's going to be one of those kind of, believe it or not, driving pitches, right? Because it's downhill to that water. Again, where do you want it? You want it off to the right or left, depending on where the hole is. So you got a big bunker over here, and you got everything kind of sloped down here. This isn't going to be too tricky. That location, you want it over here with a fade. It's actually going to play nicely for someone hitting the fade. Oh, that went further to the left than I thought. So now, you see what happens if you're too far to the left. You've got a side hill lie that's taking you away from the hole. And it's a little bit of a, I want to say it's a tier, a section on the green right there. Okay, so you got kind of trouble all around. And a bit of a funky lie if you're not careful. Stood it up there. Come on now. Not enough. I thought I had plenty. All right, one last chance at -7. This is an issue. This is a visually deceiving hole, kind of on purpose. It's kind of weird. And you think you want to hit it right down the middle there, but you kind of don't. You really want to be way over here. Right? Especially with the hole over there. So to me, most people are going to say, oh, I'm just going over here. If you get stuck over here, that's not really where you want to be. Right? Especially if you wind up in the rough over there. So you kind of want to fade one off this bunker. And I think that extra jut of fairway way off to the left kind of throws people off. Some people just don't think. They just get up to the tee and hit it. And then they get mad at me, right? So we'll see. All right, so 7 miles an hour up, 160. Actually, that's a downhill lie. We're going to give it a little bit of loft and spin. And, ooh, perfect, perfect, perfect. Perfect, 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 perfect. Oh, almost a perfect hole out. That would have been cool, huh? Cyberjack is excited there. All right, here we go. Hey, he gets that -7 finally on the 18th hole. So that's it, folks. That's Taconic State Park Red. That is an older course of mine, but I think it's a fun one. Very useful for any of your societies. But again, hopefully this video was helpful for golf course design tips and strategy. So that's all for this one. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back soon with more. Bye for now.